Hey guys, we're gonna do a little quick how-to video tonight. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna go how to fish a fly on your spinning rod here. So I've got my main line cut. I've got it all cut. We're ready to go. So what you need, obviously, you need your spinning rod. You need your flies. You need a wet bubble filled half full of water. Fill it up halfway. That's kind of critical to fill that halfway because that's going to give you weight to cast, but keep it on top of the water. The air will keep that bubble up on top. You need a barrel swivel. You need, I've got 10-pound here. I don't usually, I'm doing this just because that's what I found first. I usually do this with 4 to 6 pound test mono. Usually lean more towards 4. But like I said, I found the 10, so we're using the 10. So you take your bubble, it's halfway full. You can tie it on empty if you want, however you want to do it. Feed your line through your bubble. I like to put the big end up towards I put it through the big end first. I like to do that just so that if I reel it in too tight, I don't lose all my water. Then we're gonna take our leader material. And we're gonna go with about 6 feet of leader, okay? We're gonna tie a Palomar knot onto the swivel. And I'll explain why I like to go onto the swivel first here in just a second. And if you've ever dealt with swivels, you might understand why I like to tie a Palomar on a swivel instead of trying to tie like a clinch knot, because the swivels swivel and take away all your twists. So we are going to tie a Palomar or an overhand knot, just a granny knot, overhand knot, granny knot, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to drop our swivel back down through the loop, wet the line, pull it tight. I always like to check them, both sides, make sure they're tight. Put your tag end off. Then you got your swivel there. Then we've already got this measured out to about 6 foot. Might be 6.5, but if it's a little bit long, it's a little bit long. Cut the leader. And then we're gonna take our main line here. This is why I like to tie it on to the swivel first, because as you tie your Palomar knot here, I mean, you can use whatever knot you want, but I prefer the Palomar. I think it's stronger, it's easier, and it's faster than a clinch knot. Then you can take, in your loop for your Palomar, you can grab your swivel and pull it through, but you can pull all that leader through now that it's cut off. So now we've got a Palomar on both ends. And we're gonna pull this tight. We're gonna cut the tag end. So we're gonna get rid of that. Then we're gonna pick a fly. let's go with this. Oh, the tackle tray falling. Black and olive with kind of a bluish tinsel. I think that's a woolly bugger. And it's kind of a bigger fly. So I might be able with this bigger line to get my Palomar. We're gonna find out. Oh, look at that. Bigger fly, bigger hook, bigger eyelet, or bigger eye on the hook. So now we're gonna take, and we are going to tie another Palomar knot. Like I said, I'm using 10-pound test mono today, but usually I'm running 4 to 6 on this when I'm doing my fly fishing with my spinning rod. Get it wet, pull it tight, cut the tag in. If there's a possibility that you're going to be doing dry flies as well as wet flies, I would say to go with mono, because mono will float better than fluorocarbon. If you know you're just going to be doing strictly wet flies, you can do fluorocarbon because it'll sink and it should help get your fly down there a little bit lower. So now what we've got here is we've got our wet bubble that's only halfway full of water. We've got our barrel swivel. And then we've got our 6 foot of leader and a fly. Take your fly before you cast and get it wet so that all this hair is wet, and it'll get it to sink. Cast it out, let it sit there, and let all the ripples die away from your bobber, because you'll see this floating on top. Just let everything die away. And then when you close your bail, when you start reeling, you're gonna reel incredibly, like glacially slow. I mean, slow. You know, and you'll be able to tell how fast is too fast or how slow, you know, because you don't want any wake coming off of this bubble, because this is like an ultra, it's, yeah, a very finesse presentation. So you want this just coming back without creating any wake. You know, and if you're getting wake, then slow down. If you think you're going a little too slow, speed up and see if you get wake. Every time I've caught a fish on this, I've seen it here about the same time I felt, or sooner than I felt the strike on the rod, because this, all of a sudden your line will get tight and your bobber will kind of sink down just from the tension on the line. It's fun. I mean, it's slow. It is. I'm not very good with a fly rod, so normally, like, I take my fly rod with me when I go places where I know that there's a chance I'm going to be throwing flies. But for the most part, well, I take it and I do throw it. That's just me having fun. But I learned this setup when I was a teenager, and it's caught fish for me for 16, 17, 18 years. So it works. I promise you it works. It's really slow going. It's really finessey. But if you're like me and you just never... I guess it's probably because I just haven't put the amount of time in with the fly rod. But hey, what do you do? I learned to fish it with the spinning rod as well as with the fly rod. Like I said, I can cast a fly rod, but I'm just not very good at it. So there it is. It's simple, it's fun, And you know, if you're out trout fishing and you've already got your spinning rod with you and you don't want to break out the fly rod, and sometimes you're in spots where you can't cast your fly rod, and that's okay. That's where this handy setup comes into play. So I hope it works for you. I hope it helps. Good luck. Stay safe. Tight lines, and I'll talk to you later.